Good Friday morning, Market Chameleons, and everyone joining us for the first time. Thanks for coming by and checking out the Market Chameleon pre-market show with this man, Dimitri Pargamonic. How you doing, D?
Good morning, Will. How are you?
Good. You want to start with the disclaimer?
Yes. So good morning, everyone. Before we get started, keep in mind Will and I and Market Chameleon, we're not a registered investment advisor. We're not a broker dealer. We're not telling you what to do. We're just sharing ideas. If you need advice, call your registered investment advisor, call your broker. That's what they're there for. There's the disclaimer.
Excellent.
Yep. So I'm going to share my screen. And as I'm doing that, if you're joining us for the first time, Will and I, we do these shows in the morning to try to help answer questions you may have about the Market Chameleon tools, the data, the analytics. If you have a question, type it into that live chat on YouTube. Will's watching it. He'll read it back to me. And to give you guys a couple minutes to put those questions in, we'll start out looking at the pre-market report to see if we could get insights, what's going on in pre-market trading. Then we're going to move on to the questions. All right. So pre-market trading. This is a report on stocks that are trading in pre-market hours. Up top, you see this calendar view, and this does allow you to go back to a historical date if you wish to click on it and see what happened in a pre-market on that specific date. From a top level, there's a summary of what happened that day, so you could see at least the last week's activity, eyeball, if anything sticks out to you or you see a trend. Today, we're on February 16th, so this is the last day in the calendar. And here we have 442 stocks trading higher in the pre-market, 557 stocks trading lower. The volume looks like 188 million shares trading on up volume versus 78.6 million shares trading on down volume. If we convert that volume to dollar value, we see $4.9 billion worth of stock trading higher versus $2.5 billion stock trading lower. So this is a little bit of a mixed signals with more stocks trading lower in the pre-market hours. The dollar value of the stocks trading higher exceeds the dollar value of the stocks trading lower. So that looks like a mixed bag. Let's look at it from a couple more perspectives, then we'll move on to the questions. I'm going to scroll down in a pre-market report, and now we see a list of stocks that are trading in pre-market hours with symbols, stock symbols, price changes, volume, alerts. And this is divided into three categories. We have our most active stocks in the pre-market hours, the biggest percentage gainers, and the biggest percentage decliners. On the percentage gainers list, we had 99 stocks that met our requirements to get on this list, and 94 stocks on our biggest percentage decliners. Now, to make it on this list, we do set certain thresholds for liquidity, price change, volume, because things in the pre-market can trade with very low volume or low liquidity. But if it meets those thresholds, it can make it on this list. However, when we look at it closely, it could be small cap stocks. So we have small cap stocks in there, a lot of them. Could be an ETF, could be a inverse or leveraged ETF, closed-end fund, preferred, any security listed on a major U.S. exchange. If it's trading in pre-market hours and meets those thresholds, it can make it onto this list. So to narrow it down to a small group of stocks, we could use the filters above it. These filters here. If you have a watch list that you save and you're following a group of stocks and you wish to use your watch list as a filter, you can do that. Just drop this filter down, select from your saved watch list, and then the list below will get filtered with those symbols. We're going to use this filter in our example in ETF. So I'm going to click on it. You see a drop-down menu to select from. We're going to choose this one, SPY, which is the S&P 500 ETF. And when we do that, the list below gets filtered by stocks that are holdings in SPY, which are the S&P 500 constituents. And here we see 5 stocks in SPY made our biggest percentage gainers list and 17 on our decliners. So this looks like from this perspective that the trading in the pre-market has a bearish lean. However, I would say overall it's mixed bag. Nothing overwhelmingly showing that traders in the pre-market are very bearish or very bullish. Just different signals depending on which angle or perspective you want to look at it. But we did give it a couple minutes. If we have questions, I'll take them now.
Nothing's popped up, D.
Okay. I'm going to continue on our new, discussing the new feature that we pushed out, which analyzes multi-leg trades. Because I think we do get a lot of questions and interest around it as we've been kind of just pushing it out this week. So what we'll do is let's look for a stock, and then look at the multi-leg trading and what we think happened in that, in those multi-legs. So first, let's go to the options volume. And here on the options volume report, hold on. On the options volume report, we have a list of stocks with that trade options, and we have like a summary of the trading, right? So NVDA made the top of our list yesterday as far as the notional dollar traded in options. Okay, it traded $2.3 billion worth of options yesterday, and that's compared to 1.23 billion on an average day. So you could see that's 1.9 times its average daily dollar value traded in options, notional value. And we have a breakdown here of the calls, way more in the calls, 1.85 billion than the puts, 500 million. And then we have a breakdown of how these options traded as far as trade conditions. So 79% over here of all the options volume were entered in as single leg orders, either buying or selling a call or buying or selling a put. 21% of the volume, right over here, one-fifth the volume, the orders were entered in as a multi-leg trade. So like a call spread, a put spread, a butterfly, whatever, it was entered in as a multi-leg trade, right? So looking at this, we don't know, how traders or people used the options for multi-legs. We just know that 21% of those trades were multi-leg. And since it's on the top of our list, NVIDIA, let's go to NVIDIA and just take a look at what happened there. All right, so that right now our focus is on the multi-leg trades. So I'm going to go to NVIDIA. And so we're on NVIDIA now, and really quickly, one thing I do notice is that we do have earnings coming up February 21st. So that's sometime next week, right? Well, today's the 16th, Friday.
Yep.
Sometime next week, there's an earnings in NVIDIA. So some of this trading could be around, because NVIDIA was on the top of the list. So there's a lot of trading going on. Some of it could be elevated because and it's a busy stock. NVIDIA is one of the busier stocks. But as we get closer to earnings, we know that trading heats up. So let's just keep that in mind. Earnings are coming up. All right. So let's go now to the options. And we're going to go to the multi-leg trades. And we're going to see, well, what happened there yesterday. All right, so here we go. Here's the filter up top. So we could filter by our software detected that users use multi-leg trades, but there are at least 59 different strategies, combinations that they use. Okay, so a call spread is one strategy, but of course, within the call spread, you could have different combinations, different expirations, different strikes, but that's one strategy. We detected 59 different strategies. So people are using them in various ways. And this is yesterday, February 15th, we didn't open up yet today. So this is all yesterday's trading. And right now, this table here is showing all of them, but if we wanted to drop it down, this filter, we could see all the different types of strategies that we detected yesterday in NVIDIA. You could see call spread, put spread, near it, the amount of option volume in a call spread, and then different unique combinations. So just the call spread alone had 1,358 different unique combinations. So different. They differed in either expirations or strikes, but a lot of different ones, right? 85,000 total contracts traded in call spreads. So we see call spread, put spread, ratio, call spread, diagonal call spread. And you could see as I'm scrolling, the list is really long, okay? Although the volume starts to drop off. All right, so even down here, you could see that some of these strategies, didn't trade as much, but still, a lot of different strategies. For the most part, we could see call spreads, put spreads dominated the multi-leg trades. Then we had some ratio, diagonal call spread, calendar, and it starts to, tear off. Let me close this and stay on all. So this table here, it's sorted by the particular which strategy in particular and volume by the most volume. So the top one, okay, over here, let me close this to make this bigger. The top one is a call spread. Here we see there are 532, okay, 532 times this particular call spread traded yesterday. February 23rd expiration, the 110-120 call spread. Okay. Total contracts 20,088. And it first traded at 937.52. That was the first time this call spread traded yesterday. And the last time was 249.20. So throughout the day, basically, it wasn't just like in the morning or the afternoon or the end. It looked like pretty much throughout the day, this call spread was trading. And over here to the right, just to make things a little bit easier, we see that February 23rd has 8 days to expiration. So you don't have to do that in your head. And the 110-120 strike, the strikes are $10 apart. So this is a $10 call spread with 8 days to expiration. Now, one thing to keep in mind, remember what we said, that earnings are coming up. So let's just scroll up here. Earnings are February 21st. This expiration is February 23rd. So this expiration will expire after earnings. So this is going to cover earnings. All right. So this is potentially a trade ahead of earnings. All right. So keep that in mind. I might actually put an indicator on this. Now that I'm looking at it, I might have to put an indicator on there just to make things easier. But keep in mind now we have that information. So potentially this is someone doing something ahead of earnings, maybe in speculative or whatever. Okay. We have an indicator here that this looks that in history that this trade, this call spread February 23rd, 110, 120 has traded before at least 2 times, but based on yesterday's volume, this looks like it's new positions because the volume exceeded history. And we'll take a look at that. The price it traded at, now keep in mind, this traded many times, right? 532 times. So it could have traded at different prices, right? It could have traded at 10 cents, 20 cents, 30 cents. So this is the VWAP, the volume weighted average price. We took all the trades and took the average based on the volume that it traded at each point, right? It's weighted by the volume. Volume weighted average price 22 cents. Okay. The bid and ask volume weighted 9 cents, 33 cents. So looks like it traded in between the markets, closer to the offer, but in between. So this trading, a lot of it looks like, it was able to get filled somewhere in between or with price improvements. They didn't all go and pay the offer, hit the bid. There are price improvements in there. Okay. The stock reference volume weighted is 730.68. So let's take a look. 730.68. It closed at 726.58. So the stock closed below, right, the reference price. Now, what do we know is that, if the stock rallies that much above 120 at expiration, this spread could be worth as much as $10. So it could be somebody just taking a shot and saying, maybe I'll pay 22 cents and maybe NVDA will pop. This is a significant pop, right? From 741 above one. We're talking about what is like a 50%. I'm just trying to do it in my head, right? We're like over 300 points away, something like that. Maybe not 50, but significant pop. We'll do the math to go above that 120. That's why you're looking at 20 cents would potentially make $10. We don't know. So let's take a look. We're going to open this up to get more details. So I'm going to open this up. And of course, if it gets closer, if the market could rally heading into earnings too, and maybe the spread will be worth more. So the market at the end of the day, here are all the trades by down here, the details. There's 532. You could tab through them, but let's get back to up here, the summary. At the end of the day, the market was 8 cents bid, 27 cents. So you can see like it's still the 22 cents, somewhere in between still. So the market may have shifted a little bit lower from, the 9 cents, 33 cents that we see here. Shifted a little bit lower, but that's also because the stock, drifted a little bit lower. The last time it traded was for 21 cents. So here, 249.20, 210 contracts for 21 cents. The market was 13 cents, 21 cents. So somebody here bought it, looks like at 21 cents. So if we open this up, we get the details. These are the details of the trade. Okay. Last it traded 21 cents. VWAP price 22 cents. So we could see here that's that. The lowest price it traded at was 21 cents yesterday. The highest price it traded at was 33 cents. Okay. But keep in mind, most of the volume was around 22 because the VWAP price 22 cents. So that's where the, concentration of volume. And I'm going to open this up and we could see here, actually, so this is today's open interest. So we could see here, this traded 10,444 times. This traded 10,444 yesterday. Okay. That's the 20,088 total contracts. And the open interest is 10,500. This is the new open interest today. Okay, so it looks like that is a new position established. And historically, two other times you could see February 12th, this traded two times, like one trade, two contracts. February 7th, it also one trade, two, for 11 cents and 19 cents. So before, nothing significant. And it could be just by chance, that somebody looked at this spread before. And yesterday, obviously, a huge amount of trading. Now, I'm just looking here. Let's just open this up. I'm going to open this up. I'm looking at the trading, here you could see a lot of his cost 249.17, 249.17, 249.16. And, different sizes, different exchanges. Let me just scroll down here, and I see small lots here, lots of small lots. 245, it traded at 245. A couple things here could be going on. All right, what's the takeaway here? Because look, I'm just scrolling here. We have 5 pages over 100, we could go back. What it looks like to me, okay, what it looks like to me is this. It could be two things. It could be perhaps one or two large traders trying to enter into order, and they are just getting filled, piecemeal. It could be that, but it somehow doesn't look to me that way. Okay. Another thing it could be is there's a newsletter that might have recommended this spread. Okay. And maybe this newsletter has a lot of people, that are looking at it. Perhaps I'm not. Look, I have to make an inference, right? I'm looking at the data and I'm making an inference how this traded, with these, smaller, to mid-size spreads, trading throughout the day at various times. It looks like, they are getting all 21. So I don't know if the recommendation might have been even to put in a certain bid. I'm not sure. This is all an inference I'm making that there's two possibilities. It could be, it's either, a very large trader, right, trying to execute this big trade, and he didn't find the other side to do it all at once, so he's entering in different exchanges and trying to find that liquidity throughout the day. That's a possibility. That's happening. The other possibility is that there are all of a sudden a lot of interest in different traders entering in. Okay, so and you could see that would be unusual, right? Because that's not like what you usually see in these spreads where you have, you have like 500 here from, but usually you don't see exactly the same combination, because we could see in history, we haven't seen, this only traded 2 times, and we saw how it traded, right? We saw how this traded historically, where you don't see lots of different trades happening, lots of different people trading that exact same combination all of a sudden, throughout the day.
Hey, D.
Yeah.
We got a couple questions that have popped up. Chris is asking, is there any way to see if the trade was done on the bid or the offer, or if there is an indication of which way the trade was leaning?
Right. So here is the VWAP price. So if it was always done on the bid or offer, you would see it here. 22 cents is the trade price. This is the VWAP bid, VWAP offer. So if it always happened on the offer, you'd see the offer at 22 cents. If it always happened on the bid, 22. So you could see here it was mid-market. If you open it up, this is the trade, This is the bid, this is the offer. So this was on the offer, this was on the offer. So this is right here. We're looking at it. The ones in the yellow are the bid and offer. And the white is the trade. So you could kind of see it here. But there, it traded many times. You know, it could have traded in between. It could have traded on a bid. So to get the where did the in essence it traded, right? The bulk of it, where the bulk of the volume. That's why we show the VWAP bid versus the VWAP. I'm sorry, the VWAP trade versus the VWAP bid and the VWAP ask at the time of the trade, right? So this here VWAP is taking 210, times 21 cents. This is 94 cents times 21, 34 cents times 21. And then adding them all up, dividing it by the volume, and then it's doing the same thing with the bid. 13 cents times 210, 94 cents times 13, 34. So it's getting the VWAP bid at the time, VWAP ask, volume weighted to show you guys, in essence, it traded basically in between each time, closer to the ask, right? That's what this looks like. Okay, so we could even sort by the volume. So 9,982. So here's something interesting. I didn't see this. So it looks like a big trade did actually trade. Sorry. 9,982 out of the 10,044 traded in the morning for 21 cents. So the market was 2 cents 41 cents on ICE. So this is interesting. I didn't see this. Okay, so now that we're doing the analysis, I sorted by volume. What this could be is that somebody, either other traders saw this and piggybacked it, or somebody reported it and other traders piggybacked it, or this person got the 9,982 and then the rest of it he had to piecemeal, so there was a big trade in there, right? So at 9:38 in the early morning, the very first trade was most of that volume, right? Like 99% of the volume, whatever it is, that most of that volume did happen at one with one trade. And then we saw these other ones coming in throughout the day. So I take back what I said earlier. This doesn't look to me like it was like some kind of newsletter that somebody put out and recommended. It looks like there was a big trade. And then it was followed by a lot of, after this one big trade, we saw 532 times, so 531 more trades in it. Maybe this big trade triggered more interest. Maybe somebody reported on it and it got out, but that's what it looked like yesterday, how it traded. So the initial trade traded in between the markets, 2 cents, 41 cents, right? And then you could see the markets closed up afterwards. And the offer, right? It closed up on the offer. That most of the trading happened closer to the offer. All right, we're right up at 9:30, Will. So I'm gonna leave it at there.
All right, awesome job. We did have Jackie came on again and asked, he's in certain stock symbols, he's not seeing the single leg option. He gave me one today and I haven't seen it on my it's CYH. If you just want to bring it up real quick on yours.
So the single leg options that you're seeing, Will, on yours and mine, this is actually by accident. We did publish it out earlier and closed it because we didn't work out all the bugs. So gotcha. when we put out the multi-legs, we wanted to put this out first because there's bugs in both, but we worked out most of the bug. The single leg straight, there's buggy. It's buggy. We don't want to push it out because what happens is when people use it, we're getting errors that we need to fix, and the errors, we don't want those errors even in the background because it slows down and we don't know if the errors are going to impact. So it's still in test.
Well, there you go, Jackie. That answers the question. So
you're not going to see that single leg. It's not ready. It was pushed out by accident. We wanted to do the multi-leg first because as we work through the multi-legs, this was any new product you push out. Once you get a lot of people using it, you start getting bugged,
Yeah, and the amount of data that's being crunched is incredible here.
it's a
When you think
big,
about all the
big,
product.
big amount of data, and we wanted to do this one first. eh, and even now, even after a week with it, we're still seeing, even though it slows down, we're still seeing errors and bug reports where, you're, it's, I don't know if anybody's ever tested software, but just a different combination of clicks could create a bug, right? Just that we didn't even think about. So as we're fixing these, we want to get this stable, and work out the bugs before we move on to the other one. All right. But we couldn't push out both. The other one's still in testing. And I think by accident we did it for one day, and then we had to close it out. Not because we want to take it away from you, but we don't want something in there that we know has errors, bugs in it.
All right, perfect. That answered his question. Jackie says thanks. Great job, D. You have a good weekend, buddy, and a good trading day.
Thanks everyone for joining. Stay safe out there. Have a great trading day, and hope to see. Wait, Monday we're off. I think Monday is
our kids off, or is the exchange closed? Is the exchange closed?
I think the exchange might be closed. I'm not sure if it's closed.
Let me look. Really, we should let everyone know.
I think it's closed. So if it is, we'll see you guys on Tuesday.
Yeah, it's yep, it's closed. Exchange is closed on Monday. So there you go.
Okay.
We'll see everyone on Tuesday. Awesome job,
Yep.
Dean.
All right. Thanks everyone for joining. Stay safe out there. Yep. Hope to see you guys